Hello, dear listener. Welcome back to the epic finale of this Psychotherapist podcast. In part 3 of this epic saga, we discuss the turmoil that is enveloping the United States of America. From the Chauvin trial to police brutality to fake diagnoses of climate change anxiety, we spend this final part discussing the mental health of the country and how it's really gone downhill. I hope you guys enjoy it. Peace.
I have about 15 minutes, then I have to leave to be somewhere, okay?
Okay. So you saw my agenda item about Gutfeld, right?
Yeah.
So are you familiar with what he said about the Chauvin verdict?
No, I didn't hear. I didn't hear it at all. I know
Okay.
that he was getting criticized for it because he didn't take some kind of a stand because he supported the wrong side, I guess, right?
Well, let me break down what happened because I heard his clip and his actual words, and I'm gonna bash Gutfeld for the next couple of minutes, but it doesn't mean I've disowned him or because what he said is something I can get the allure of. So what he said is that I think this trial is bullshit, but call me selfish. I don't want these riots. I don't want them to burn down the city. So whatever. And to me, I'll be honest, I had that thought cross my mind. Part of me just wishes Trump doesn't get elected just so the fucking country doesn't burn to the ground. But you know what? I'm sorry, but in my opinion, we're at a point where we just cannot concede. I mean, the thing is the way I think of it is that there is absolutely no satisfying these people. There are people still on George Floyd Square occupying it and refusing to move until their demands are met. So yeah. It's you can throw some red meat to these fucking jackals outside your house and maybe they'll leave you alone today, but they'll be right back tomorrow. So, That's why I can't support what he said in that particular instance. And I think it's incumbent on basically anti-woke people to just say, no, we're not going to cave into fucking terrorists. You are not going to intimidate me into ignoring justice,
And what his view was, again, explain. He said he was going along with it for what?
So he personally thought the verdict was BS, but and if he honestly believed Chauvin, deserved those charges or whatever, I could respect that more. But to say, I know it's bullshit, but maybe let's just go with it anyway, it's just I can get that, but it's bro, we cannot. I hate using contentious language and fight like hell and shit, but bro, I think we're well past the point where if we just sit on our hands, I just feel for anyone who's a free thinker, the more we sit on our hands, the more likely we're gonna wake up in a fucking gulag one day wishing we spoke out when the worst thing that could happen to us was a Twitter mob.
Right.
These are the good times, bro, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think I know what's happening with him in that regard is, we got looted last summer during the riots. That the neighborhood he lives in Brooklyn was devastated. And he never let go. He talks about that more than he should because it seems to have had a tremendous impression on him. He was really traumatized by it.
Yeah.
He couldn't believe it that it happened, to his building, to his shopkeeper next door and all that stuff. And every now and then, it's he reiterates it. He keeps talking about it, I was looted. My neighborhood was razed to the ground.
Yeah.
And it was. And
yeah.
I think that's interfering with some of his thinking in terms of what he might have said that you're referring to.
I didn't know that context, and that makes a lot of sense, and I can get that, but it's bro, they're gonna burn and loot your shit anyway. There's no appeasing these fucking people.
Right.
You give a mouse a fucking cookie, he's gonna want your fucking house.
Yeah, and I'll bet he thinks that way, but I think that first I thought it might have been the network putting pressure on him because he's got a new show But then I said, no, nothing has stopped him and Tucker Carlson before. The network has pretty much given them carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want, because they're Fox. But I think that business about he just couldn't believe that he was actually looted, that he had to move out of his apartment, that his neighborhood was changed, the neighborhood he loved, that when he moved in there in Brooklyn, talked about it all the time, and then after one weekend it became unrecognizable. Then that sits pretty heavy with him, basically.
Yeah. And I don't blame him, That's why, like, even if I strongly disagree with his comments, I don't think he's a bad person for saying it, because
Right.
it's like not the craziest thought to say maybe just give them what they want, they'll leave us alone, but it's
Right.
like, bro, they're not going to.
No, they're not going to at all. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
They'll just come back for more. You said something I wrote down here, circle back, and I'm thinking, what did I mean? When you were talking about going to bed earlier and getting up earlier, this week heard an interesting. In the afternoon, I've been fooling around with trying to listen to different people. That's my hypnosis time. In the afternoon, I use for hypnosis different people who are on YouTube, and I tried to go with a gentler, kinder side rather than some of the hard hitters who take you deep into your subconscious. And one of the people I remember, because you're in a semi-trance, saying something about, let's hope that, tomorrow's a better day, that you're able to get up a little bit earlier and, look forward to then reading that book by your bedside that you never get to because you're too tired or something like that. And that made sense to me. It's like, that's a good goal. I mean, that's one of my goals that I've been able to achieve, that I'm working on, is to get it so I can wake up a little bit earlier. It's in my neurology that's fighting back, but you had mentioned that, and there's something to be said about that, because even Charlemagne in his book talked about the benefits of getting up early, focusing on that part of your day to start your day. And the group of Dana-Farber, the priest, he talks about that all the time, that his 5-5-5 theory, 5 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of prayer, 5 minutes of stretching, that sort of thing. That there's something that would be, I mean, for you, I think that's a good thing, if you can maintain that.
Yeah, I think it's something I'm very pleased with, and
Yeah.
I don't have to be Jocko Willink getting up at 4 a.m. every day, but I'm trying to, get my workouts earlier in the morning, because it's a lot harder. It's a lot easier for me to work out before work as opposed to after,
Yep.
Because after I just don't want to really do anything, but, because I just know after dinner time, I'm really not that productive, even if I try to be, unless I'm just reading a book or something. If I try to work or do programming, it's just harder. So it's easier for me to try to do that in the morning before I have to do other shit.
Yeah, anybody, who recommends organization or motivation talks about, you get your best stuff done in the morning, earlier in the day, and as the day goes on, it's just natural that your brain gets a little foggy, your body gets a little tired, and the expectation that you can do it. People say I'm a night person. I used to think I was a night person. I used to work nights at hospitals because I liked that time. I liked the nightlife, but it doesn't work that way with your brain, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. So did you have I'm just pulling up your text real quick because you had an interesting agenda item. Let's see. Something about, oh, here it is. Climate anxiety and fake theories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is. The latest lingo is climate anxiety, and it makes me sick when I hear therapists get up on TV and talk about it. That they're treating patients, with anxiety, climate anxiety, because I think it's a bunch of crap. That anybody would. Well, it's possible. Because a lot of people became anxious over the pandemic. But to hear some of these people speak, and then of course the media gets a hold of it, and it becomes gospel. This is a new trend. That you worry about the anxieties causing people to have anxiety disorders, and I just think it's a bunch of crap. I don't believe in it.
Yeah, I think it's a load of crap as far as that is something that's probably just, where I think it isn't crap is this in the sense that I think there are young kids who really are, because the media is just so fucking manipulative and feeds off fear.
Oh, I
And
agree. I agree with that. And I didn't mean to, just say
okay,
it the way I just explained it. Definitely, it's causing panic. It is causing panic and worry because it's the adults who are doing it. But I don't believe it. It is truly should be included in the DSM-5, for
oh yeah,
instance.
no,
It's an anxiety disorder.
it should not be a real thing at all until we actually are at doomsday, which, we're always just 5 more years away from being past the tipping
Yep,
point
yep,
for like
that's right.
decades. So I don't know, man. I care about climate change and stuff, but it's really kind of dropped off my list as far as top priorities.
Right, right. Yeah, I know. But I mean, to the point where you think about clearly, if you have, suffer from anxiety and it interferes with your life, your ability to function, to sleep, to eat, to think, to have relationships, and that's where I see it in a clinical sense. That I don't believe it's a real thing.
Mm.
Kids are scared now. Kids are worried. I mean, but that's the adults who've done it to them, basically.
Yeah, I really feel bad for these kids, man, because I think they've in some ways they've never had it better, but they're just
Yep,
not even allowed to realize it, and they have to live in a
exactly.
perpetual state of fear, and I'm killing the planet. And just a quick little side note I want to
Yeah,
mention is,
that's great. I mean, that's don't lose sight of that. That what you stated is a great theory, 100% on the mark. That the kids couldn't have a better time to be alive, and they're not allowed to enjoy it
yeah, and it's just fucked up to me.
because of the politicians, basically, because people have a political view or a narrative or an agenda,
Yeah,
and it's much more important for them to drive that home.
yeah, man. And I think honestly, like, politicians are definitely a problem, but I feel like I feel like the biggest leviathan out of all these monsters is just the media, you know.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But I just wanted to make a quick side note. I lost the photos, but I took couple screens of a profile I saw on Bumble where there was a description where it's like, I really care about climate change and what we can do to fix the planet, and not polluting and blah blah blah. And right below it was a picture of this chick on a jet ski, like in front of a
Ah,
yacht.
ah. The same chick who wrote that.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. That's John Kerry. That's John Kerry. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
he's our climate czar, and he's already I've been on his jet ski this spring.
Yeah.
Out in Cape Cod Bay, and flies his private jet. And Teresa Hines, of the Hines fortune, is buys him all these expensive toys.
Yeah.
He has his own, what do you call it? The device that allows you to go anywhere and look at anything and everything. Having word finding issues, Malcolm, but he's just the antithesis of what he proposes. He lives a different way all the way around. He's a big carbon polluter.
Oh, yeah. None of these. I don't think a lot of these politicians believe half of the shit they say.
Yeah, I don't think they understand a lot of it either. I really think that a lot of them cannot understand the benefits of clean fuel and fracking. They can't be that stupid not to understand it. Or the environmentalists cannot have that much power and control over them.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the environmentalists don't have control, but the politicians just want to play this shit up anyway because it's useful to them. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Let me clarify something. You talked about work. Your work, is it getting busier?
Because I want to save up and be ready to move when it comes time.
Okay. Are you needing to go back into the office soon? think I told you about the conference I went to a week ago on telehealth, and how they talked about, the percentages of people who would be back in their offices and versus working remotely, and the working remotely, far exceeded the percentage of people that would be going back into office settings full time.
Mm.
If anything, it would be more of a hybrid model, and the greater portion of time would be working remotely, and the lesser time would be going into a building.
Yeah.
Because the studies have just shown that it's, as opposed to like kids need to be in front of a teacher and need to be around other kids, it's different for a lot of the other people, the other kind of work people do.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole... Sorry, go ahead.
So you got, and that's one of the issues. You've got environmental factors, and people who, whose, mothers, who have to live in two-room apartments, and they have to do the cooking and everything else, and their work and everything, and they don't have a space or a place where they can do it. It's not good for them, for their mental health.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate in that I can be pretty isolated and, create my own space and setting. And because of my health issues, I've never been more productive. That I can actually, rest periods of time, short periods of time, get my energy going back up, and then get back on it.
Nice.
Yeah. But that's a personal thing. So, anything else you want to bring up?
Plenty of things, but we're very short on time. So if it's
Okay.
all right with you, I know we're not a news show and we don't play clips and segments and shit usually, but I have Pelosi ready to go and it's only 30 seconds. Can I just play it for the audience? We don't even have to comment on it because I think we're pretty much on the same wavelength.
Oh, let's go.
All right, let me just pull it up real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, YouTube.
I could watch clips of her all day.
Oh God, I don't know how you could.
Oh, I think the comedy is. I cannot believe that she takes herself seriously than anyone else does.
Yeah, dude. When I saw this clip, I was doing a little Googling, and I even saw a headline that says CNN, Pelosi totally tone deaf.
God.
All right, here's...
CNN said that?
Yep.
Wow.
But yeah, I think they'll turn. I think it's possible they'll turn on Biden eventually. But I don't think they're in any rush to do that, if at all. But here's the clip, everyone, in case you want to wonder why we're a little miffed with Pelosi right now.
Run it.
Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Call out for your mom. I can't breathe. But because of you, and because of thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous with justice. And now we have to make sure justice prevails in the sentencing. But
Well, that's the best I can do, but whatever.
Okay, what are you playing it from?
I was playing it off my phone because I wanted to play it off my laptop, but the mic's hooked in, so no sound would come out except through my
all right.
headphones.
Well, maybe you can toy around with it before next week, okay?
Yeah, maybe I'll even just edit it in
I would
post.
love to hear it. What is it in reference to?
Well, it's the 30-second clip of Pelosi saying, "Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life
yes,
for
yes.
justice."
Yes, like she was speaking to Jesus Christ. I mean, they have been so incredible this week. It's like a comedy clip.
It's unreal.
Last week, it might have been Gutfeld show who did a prelude that just showed a whole bunch of. They played the theme song from Larry David's comedy show, and then it just showed a whole bunch of clips from the Dems, like when Kamala Harris and Biden approached the podium, and Kamala Harris tripped. Did you see that?
I didn't see her trip, no.
No, not Mike. She said, "Shit, what an entrance!" And like Joe's standing right there beside her. It's just great stuff, you know.
Yeah, I can't wait till she's in charge, bro. It's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
They can't script it any better, you know.
They really can't. But
And,
you know,
and the shame is that Saturday Night Live doesn't take advantage of it.
oh, of course they don't.
Use it for their material.
You know, but all this, I think, I mean, there's an argument to be said that the media and stuff is like losing their power, and I'm not quite sure of that, but it could have an effect over the next few years now that Orange Man Bad is gone.
Oh, I think it will.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Also, maybe next week we can talk a little bit about cryptocurrency. Okay.
What did you want to? What about?
And the market, and what you've done with it, or whether you're getting killed in the market or staying alive.
I'm doing pretty okay right now.
Okay. So maybe we just talk for 30 seconds about it next week, okay?
All right, cool, man.
All right, Malcolm, Triple X. I will talk to you next week, folks. Have a good week.
All right, have a good week, everyone. Bye, Bob.
Take it easy, Malcolm. Bye.
Bye.